But Dave, as the world opens back up and festivals have returned, controversy has come with it and some tragedy as well. This past Friday night, Astroworld 2021 going down in Houston. Obviously, Travis Scott's festival, so going down in Houston makes a lot of sense. Um, was marked and shut down early by 8 deaths. I think the reports now have over 100 people who have gone to the hospital as a result of uh, stampeding or pushing towards the stage, overcrowding, people being trampled. It's under investigation, obviously, but it was really like a weird thing to wake up to Saturday and see all this. As videos and reports have trickled out, just is like more and more like harrowing how dire the situation was and how little control and help there seemed to be. And it's also, I think, just as people have gone to a festival, and especially, you've gotten up close. I've been in my younger years up close to the stage and been in that push sometimes. Just kind of like shocking to hear how
Mm.
serious this got very quickly. What was your just like general
Yeah.
reaction when you first heard?
Not only have I gone to a festival a few times, I've seen Travis Scott at a festival.
Hmm.
uh, yeah, obviously, ridiculous. Not something you expect to happen. I mean, it harkens back to like Altamont and like Woodstock '99 and like shit that we just assumed was in the past. Thankfully, right? And
Hmm.
the first thing that I started to think about was like, oh, Astro World Festival. This is only its third year in existence. This just kind of seems like some bush league shit happened. Like
Hmm.
this would not happen at a festival managed by Golden Voice. No way,
Yeah, no.
you know? And there's a lot of things to think about and fingers to point. But I think a lot of it is just that this is a festival that was not handled properly. And, you know, I think a lot of people are bringing this up. Astroworld in the past, I believe 2019, the last time they did it, there were some issues with like people rushing the security checkpoint and like just like a rowdiness that seemed to overwhelm the security. Again, just something that's like quite unacceptable at this kind of public event because we know how successful and safe festivals of 100,000 plus people can be done. So why wasn't that done this time? It just brings a lot of unfortunate questions because I mean, kids should not die at a music festival. It's absurd.
Right, I think that's something we should add to the report is that all 8 people have been identified at this point, and the age range is from 14 to 27 years old. And in terms of people who've gone to the hospital as a result of the incident on Friday night, someone as young as 10 has been put into the hospital and is in critical condition at this time. So,
Right.
um, some it's definitely, I think, confusing and surprising. It's not like Astroworld is just Travis Scott backing all this money. I mean, Live Nation is behind this, and
Right.
they're a seasoned promotion and production
Of
company
course.
who should be able to put on a festival like this. And there were reports from what 2019, the first year that they did it, that there were people storming the gates. This seems to
Mm.
be a typical thing that happens at this festival at this point. There was videos of people doing it at this concert,
Yeah.
this Astro World festival. And so you do get the sense from that security might have felt a little overwhelmed or understaffed in some way. Reports say that they had over 500 security people on staff. I don't know how many people are typically on staff
Right.
for a festival this size, but the reports were that there were 50,000 people there, and all those people packed into one area. You would think that they would have to have some sort of crowd control procedure to go about this, and it just felt like no one took control of this situation until it got too bleak, and it happened really quickly.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of reporting in the New York Times as everyone's trying to piece it together. And as you said, the Houston Police Department's still investigating a lot of things about it. But when I looked at the set list, when I first, heard that it happened, I was looking at the set list. I was like, this does not seem awfully strategically staggered the way a festival is supposed to be to split people up. Obviously, everyone's more or less going to be congregating for Travis at the end. That's inevitable. But during the day, it didn't seem that wise. And if you read the reporting from New York Times, people were starting to go to the medical tent in the afternoon, way before Travis started. And obviously that happens all the time, whether it's
Mhm.
dehydration, someone's fucked up on booze, drugs, whatever it is, that's going to happen. But it seemed to be that there's just a higher level of that. It's not like Astroworld is a place where people are getting fucked up any more than any other festival. I really doubt that's the case, you
Right.
know? So yeah, I mean, and like in the reporting, they noted like there was, a lot of like emergency plans, and they had done more with barriers and stuff. So like doing a better job was definitely on the mind of who was
Mhm.
doing this. And yet this still happens, and I think a lot of the talk now has been about Travis Scott's own role in this. Obviously, as part of the organizers behind it, I think obviously just leadership wise, a lot of blame that we've just talked about. But also then there's his role as the performer. I believe
Mhm.
there's some viral videos on social media that have highlighted kids from the pit trying to flag security down to stop the show. Travis didn't seem to understand that was happening or wanted to push through regardless. So I believe when the first deaths were reported, he still performed another like 30 minutes or something along those lines. So a lot of I guess a lot of unknowns still about
Yeah.
how Travis the performer fits into that, but he definitely didn't help the matters. He does have that bully pulpit like all performers do. You can stop the show, and people have been showing stuff from Foo Fighters or ASAP Rocky at Complex
Yeah.
Con this very weekend. You can briefly stop the show and like, hey, pick those people up,
Mhm.
And obviously, big C, tens of thousands of people. It's hard for the performer to see everything going on, but also I feel like he started to see ambulance lights eventually, right? And didn't seem to acknowledge it.
Yeah. There, the videos. When he first stopped the show, and he actually says to the music, like he tells it to stop, and then says, "Just play in soft, and we'll bring it back up."
Mm,
And tells the security or the medics to get over to a certain spot, certain person. Then just starts singing again. That's been a viral video. It's also a video, like you mentioned, where he can see the ambulance in the crowd, and then he immediately tells everybody to put both hands up, right? And it's just really tough. It's hard to say. I've never been in his position where I'm performing at night with this many people. There's a lot of commotion, a lot of movement. If he saw it, if he didn't, I assume he must have known something was off to the point where he's telling the music to stop, people to go over to a certain area.
right.
It just is it's hard, I think, to make sense of the statements that come out afterwards, where him and Kylie Jenner both made statements saying that they weren't aware of what was going on. No, of course they wouldn't have been performing through this, or recording videos if they knew the severity of things. Um, but when you're the lead performer for this festival, when you're the face of the festival, it does feel like there needs to be a little bit more accountability. Obviously, at this
Mm.
point, his lawyers are in his ear saying, "Don't
Oh,
say sorry,
he's already
don't."
getting sued. Like that's already
Yeah.
happening.
So I know that he has to be tight-lipped at this point. Um, so it's a very like difficult thing I think to make sense of, and there's going to be weeks and weeks of investigation into this. And
Right.
like you said, legal battles are certainly on the horizon. He's canceled his performances at future festivals at this point. Um, I mean, we're not getting that album, right?
No, Utopia or the dystopia mixed in. Oh, they ain't coming. We
Yeah.
know that.
So it's
Um,
very tough.
yeah, everyone's getting refunds. Travis, as well as, or even earlier, Roddy Rich, someone who wasn't a headliner, offered to, pay for, services for the victims, things like that.
Mm.
One thing, you hear about it, right? And it's like, I, I've kind of like a lot. There's like a lot of anecdotal thoughts I've had. It's like I do feel like a lot of young people might not be super trained in festival etiquette in terms of being in a large concert. You read some of the quotes from kids that were trying to get things done. There were people like getting trampled or collapsed on the ground that were not getting picked up by the people around
Mm.
them. At the end of the day, the people in the pit need to help keep you safe if
Yeah.
you can't keep yourself safe anymore, right? Like it's a lot of that, and obviously, like the way it sounds, the walls were closing in from the sides. That's how the crush happened.
Mm.
that's basically out of everyone's control in the middle. I know that, but I mean, that's not a great look if like the people around you didn't help you up,
Yeah.
and then again, that probably falls on security to try and pick out the fucked up people and kick them out earlier in the day.
Mhm.
It's a big fucking mess, and
There
unfortunately, just all the reporting we had about Rolling Loud New York being like incredibly over policed, almost with a racial undertone as a hip hop festival. Um, a theme for Rolling Around New York.
Mhm.
I think coupling that with this, what has just happened now, the loss of life, I wonder what future festivals, especially ones aimed at very young people with rap, I wonder how that's going to go at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that came to mind for me. I mean, we're having a regular conversation about the state of festivals, and festivals have done very well post COVID. That was a prediction that we both got very wrong.
Yep.
And I think now that we've had these two in weekends very close to each other, it kind of throws into question again, like how are things going to change? What's it going to look like? To bring it back to Travis just real quick, there's been a lot of Travis slander coming out. I mean, obviously, when something like this happens, people are more likely to take pot shots or get things off their chest to kind of heap on to a
Mhm.
person at this time. But I think one critique that has been kind of ringing true to me is just how Travis is like known for not I wouldn't say inciting violence, but just inciting rowdiness at
Yeah.
these
The
concerts.
rage.
Yeah, encouraging people to just
Hmm.
let go, be rambunctious. He's yelled at security before for stopping
Hmm.
people from rushing stages. So I do feel like there's some like almost like inevitability to not necessarily this, but there being some sort of incident at a Travis Scott event that was going to look bad at some point and probably get out of hand. But to get to this level is just absolutely tragic and
Yeah.
so devastating.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people probably go to Astroworld, and the people fly in. It's not like it's just a Houston thing by any means. It's a national festival, of course. People go because they're huge fans of Travis Scott and they want to fucking get lit with La Flame. That is the energy, and he has a great reputation as a live performer. And part of that is high energy. I mean, again, like in a positive light, I remember seeing songs that are not super high energy of his studio wise. When he performs them, they're fucking nuts, like stargazing or something. That's just what he does. And on the other hand, I've been in situations where the artist told me to rush and me and the whole crowd rushed. I saw Tyler the Creator in 2013 and we were standing on the fucking seats pushing. He said, fuck, he was like, fuck security. And we're like, you know what? Fuck it. And we did. And what happened? They cut the fucking mic and made us all go back or they were going to cancel the show. Kid Cudi
Mhm.
came out ahead of time and it's like, hey guys, this is fun, but we got to go back. And everyone's like, okay, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
like there's ways to control the energy of the crowd, so it's really sad, honestly, and just an unacceptable outcome.
Yeah. Not good for music, not good for anybody here. Major rip to those 8 people, and speedy recovery to all those who were sent to the hospital or impacted.